Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of No Holds Barred, our sort of bookends to these journeys we go on here on the channel. As you can see, well, you can't actually see because it's not showing up, but as you can see by the title down below, we have just wrapped up our journey through the world of Yakuza Kiwami 2. A game that's easily classified now as one of my favourites of all time. This is an absolutely amazing game. It is the continuation of our Yakuza franchise run. We have platinumed, at this time of recording, Yakuza 0, and we have 100%ed Yakuza Kiwami, which for reasons in the previous No Hold Barred video on the matter is explained why we didn't platinum that. This is a game that I was unsure about platinuming until we finally got into it properly, and then I realised, yes, for once in my time, I will break my one-run rule, and we will actually sit here and we will play the entire game through twice. Once on hard mode to get through the entire story and get the main bulk of our 100% run done, and then once through on Legendary, where we just went New Game Plus with everything we'd unlocked in the main game and the premium adventure, and then we completely curb stomped everyone through a speed run, as speedy as I am actually in any instance, even completing this game. So yes, well, I say completing, we've not completed it, I'll get into that. But anyway, of the game. Boy, first of all, this one has been made in Dragon Engine, RGG Studios' own custom-built games engine. I must admit, it does have some janky moments. Sometimes you do get caught on things, sometimes the controls do seem to be a bit skew-with, and sometimes the combat does seem to do weird things that I can't particularly fathom, because I most certainly didn't put the controller in that position. But you know what? Nothing feels too unseemly, ungainly. It all sort of pulls together. Beautiful game. I've seen complaints that this game looks ugly. Everyone has their own standards. For me personally, though, I didn't think this game looked ugly. The pre-rendered cutscenes were absolutely amazing in terms of how the characters looked and everything around them. Inside the world, I mean, coming off Yakuza Kiwami, the world blew me away the first time we walked into Kama Roadshow. It blew me away even more when the training guards were off. I was going to say training wheels, but they weren't really training wheels. They were just sort of guards to guide you in the right direction. But once you get from Kama Roadshow to Sotenbore, the guards are removed and you can do everything. It astounds me. Sometimes you do run smack bang into a door. I think that's probably a layover from the previous Yakuza games where you get to a door and you have to press a button. Here you just stand in front of the door and Kiryu does an animation of him opening it, which led me to crashing face first into a few doors here and there, but I was still doing it by the end of the game, but by that point I think that was very much a me issue rather than a game issue. But yes, the Dragon Engine's truly astounding as far as I'm concerned. You can run around, you can throw people into shops and then beat them up with all the bar stools. Combat-wise, Kiryu is still the street fighting badass that he's always been, complete with an arsenal of weapons that you find scattered around. I would complain that the heat actions, though, after having done the secondary completion criteria for the heat actions in the last two games, there seems to be a strong lack of variety in the heat actions in this game. From what I can tell, it's a limitation of Dragon Engine, so take that what you will. I suppose you take the rough with the smooth, but a lot of heat. I was going into this expecting a whole rainbow of random heat actions, like ripping up electrical boxes or smacking people over the head with lampposts, but some of the tried and true ones, like the salt shaker and the portable stove, they still exist, as well as the pliers as well. I'm sure many of you are thrilled by that, but I don't know, it seemed lacking in terms of the heat action. However, where they have the lacking the heat action, you make up for with what I think is brilliant. I think they call it the climax mode. I called it dragon mode or extreme heat mode throughout most of the game, but either way, whatever it's called, once you reach a certain point of the story, you unlock the ability to sort of go Super Saiyan, and you press a button and then Kiryu's pretty much you can't die so long as you've got a heat bar. It breaks the game slightly after you complete a certain amount of one of the... If you do a completion run, like I did, and you do all of the bouncer missions, then you eventually break the entire system and you can become Immortal Kiryu, so long as you're reasonably careful. So there's that, but yeah, the extreme heat mode was an absolute blast to use once I got my head around it. The weapons, I actually used the weapons a lot more in this game than I was expecting to. I was thinking I was going to go in with a fight, just fist fights, but because unlike previous games where you had a choice of different styles of fighting, and sorry, my PlayStation got on. Right, because you have different styles of fighting in the previous games, here you don't. You only have Kiryu's Dragon of Dojima style, which it's utilitarian. It'll work. It works fine, but the flavor comes from the weapons as well as the extreme heat mode, which is sort of like beast mode in the previous games, where you literally pick up things off the street. I'm still going to complain until my dying day that the mopeds really should not break apart after one hit, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, combat is perfectly... I found the combat fun for a lot of it. The goons... yeah, I thought it was alright. It was seamless transitions between the fight, from running around to fighting on the street, but I don't know, something felt like it was lacking from Yakuza 0. Maybe it was the extra money you gain from as you beat them up in various ways, but at the same time, context of the game and all that. Obviously, you're not in the Japanese bubble anymore, so you won't be getting stupid amounts of yen for it, so here and there. But yeah, goons do drop money. If you go to the vending machines, you can get coffee, and that gives you an XP boost or a defense boost, or in my case, I went usually XP or money to help me farm up some money. Money farming, by the way, the return of Club 4Shine. Well, Sunshine from Yakuza 0, but it's called Club 4Shine here. You are a manager of a hostess club. Once again, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love that. Not because I'm addicted to waifus or anything, but yes, that was an absolute blast to play. The storyline in that was fantastic. No spoilers, but I really highly recommend doing the final hostess mission because that was very, very fun. What else was there? Music. Once again, Sega sound team completely on point. They have done an absolute stellar job. I will complain bitterly that they have removed Back in the Tai Sorrow as a karaoke song, but they have replaced it with a Majima, well, with an anthem to Majima, as I have named it, just now, which is absolutely brilliant and has easily become my favourite song in the game. You do have Back in the Tai. You also have a few callback songs that play in the background in restaurants and shops, which is a nice little Easter egg for the people who've played the other games. You also have a few Easter eggs dittered around inside the sub-stories that call back to Yakuza Kiwami and even Yakuza 0 in certain places. Majima is still around, and though he is not everywhere, he is still absolutely amazing. So rejoice, Majima fans! Your mad dog of Shimono is still around. For the Kiryu fans, Kiryu is still an absolute badass and still one of my favourite characters of all time. Story-wise, as I've already said, this game easily goes in as one of my favourites of all time. Story, I won't spoil the story because I think this one is definitely one that you should play. The trailer, you should watch the trailer for a synopsis of the story, but the story I found absolutely amazing. A lot of the twists and turns I was not expecting. There was one major twist that you can see coming from a million miles away, but other than that aside, there were a lot of smaller twists here, there, and everywhere that led up to the end of it. And only on the second playthrough for the Legend run did it all I suddenly sort of go, oh right, that ties into there, and that's there, and that foreshadows that, and it was just amazing. And I noticed all these little details you didn't see previous. But then again, hindsight's always 20/20. So yeah, sound design, the characters, what else have we got? I don't think I've forgotten anything, have I? Sub-stories, completion, 100% completion, so... oh no, not 100% completion, 100% run. We have, over the course of this game, we have done all the main story, all the sub-stories, all of the mini-games, all of the battle and adventure completion. We've done all of the primary completion list, we've all done all of the secondary criteria inside of the completion list, so that's every gear item, every weapon, every heat action carried out. We have also done all of the Club 4Shine missions, we've done all of the Clan Creator missions, main ones, and all but one of the secondary missions. Now, there is a reason for that. Not that it's broken, but I think it's broken, but it's broken by design. The final Clan Creator mission gets you, as far as I can tell, nothing, and it's insanely difficult and requires a lot of grinding. and to be honest, I didn't find it that fun, so I binned that one off. Much like we did with the on-rail shooter section of Yakuza Kiwami, we are not doing that. We're not completing that particular one on the principle of I just don't have the time, patience, or willpower to do it. Your mileage may vary, but for me personally, no. It didn't have anything to do with the final completion. There we go. The final completion of the game, I'd say it was a completion run if I'd done that, but I didn't, so it's a 100% run as far as I'm concerned. We have done all of the things required. We have also platinumed the game. There's no easy way for me to show it, but if you go back through the play to the final, to Journey's end of this Let's Play, then you will find us showing off the Platinum Trophy. So it does exist, evidence does exist, we have done it. But yes, I think that's enough rambling for now. I think I've covered everything. I think I've got a lot of my thoughts and feelings out for this game. Like I said, I've absolutely adored this game. I have loved it massively. In terms of games, in terms of ranking the Yakuza games, I think this one easily ties with Yakuza 0. Would I say it beats Yakuza 0? That's a tough one. That is a tough sell, but it's certainly up there. I would say those two are some of my favourite games of all time. This one is definitely up there in terms of sub-stories, in terms of main story, in terms of side questing. Oh, and yes, we did, by the way, as part of that completion, that 100%, do all of the bouncer missions. Pandemonium on Legend. Insane. Insanity. But if you're interested, then somewhere in the archive, there is a video of my final run beating Pandemonium, and yes, it was as stressful as it looked in that video. And I think that is everything. I think that is all my thoughts and feelings about this game sort of condensed down into this video, though if you ever have any questions, do feel free to stop by the live stream and ask me my thoughts on anything in particular. But with that said, for now, I think it is time I have a rest. So, to each and every one of you, may you all have a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever it is around this whole wide world you are. Thank you very much for listening. And until our paths next cross again, the vortex awaits, and I'll see you all next time.